Hi, my name is Mr. Ui Tian Ping, or most people call me Sam. I am a lecturer here at Hanyang University College of Communication. And today I'm going to introduce to you one of my favorite books known as Robinson Crusoe. This book is written by Daniel Defoe in 1719, which would make this book over 300 years old. But don't worry about it, just because it's 300 years old doesn't mean that the plot is going to be boring. This plot is actually kind of interesting because it's actually based on a true event. But this book just takes this drama to a whole different level because it talks about it way too much. But don't worry about it, it's actually kind of fun to read. So, if you don't know what the book is about, basically it is about a character known as Robinson Crusoe, who is a very wealthy Englishman, but unlike most wealthy English people, he is very adventurous. He actually doesn't like sitting at just one spot, he actually likes to be walking around, but one of his favorite hobbies would actually be sailing. In this case, you're going on voyages to different places. However, he actually wants to be a sailor, but his parents actually want him to study law. So in this case, you can actually consider Robinson Crusoe to be quite a rebellious teen in this case. Alright? So, what did he do in this entire story? I'm not going to give you too much of a spoiler, but I will give you a quick summary. Alright? So, within this entire story, Robinson Crusoe actually manages to sneak aboard certain voyages so that he can go on an adventure. But in this case here, we can call Robinson Crusoe a little bit of a misfortune because in most voyages that he goes to, his ships tend to get wrecked. That means he tends to get into very serious accidents. One of them included him being captured by pirates, where he was forced to be worked as a slave for over 2 years. And within those 2 years, he also plotted on how he could actually escape these pirates. After this voyage, after he managed to escape, he went back to England, settled down for a minute, and then after a few years later, he actually became adventurous again. His adventurous spirit actually never died in this case. During one of his many voyages, on his way to Africa to find slaves to buy, his ship actually got wrecked about 40 miles over the coast of Venezuela. So in this state, he was actually stuck on an island for quite a long time. So what he did was, he managed to swim back to the shipwreck, gather as many materials as he needed, go back to the island and set up camp for the foreseeable future. And that foreseeable future took a total of 28 years for him to finally be able to get off the island. So during his entire journey in the island, how he survived, he managed to raise stock like sheep, he managed to make things like cheese and bread, he managed to grow crops. So during one of these voyages on his way to Africa to buy slaves, his ship got wrecked again. And from there, what happened is he was stranded on an island about 40 miles over the coast of Venezuela. And from there, what he did was he had to swim back to the shipwreck and gather as many materials as he could. And these materials included seeds, included bread, cheese, some meat, and even firearms like muskets and rifles. And during this entirety of his journey, when he was stuck on this island, he had to find ways to be rescued. However, rescue didn't come until the next 28 years, which is quite a long time. So he had to do everything in his power to survive in the island. So what he did during his 28 years on the island was he managed to rear sheep, he managed to make cheese, he managed to make milk, he managed to make crops, and most importantly, he started reading the Bible. He became more attuned with religion and he started thanking God that he was still alive. Now, during one of these years, he was walking along the beaches of the island and suddenly he saw footprints. By seeing footprints, Robinson Crusoe actually grew to become more aware and scared because he hadn't had any human interaction for over 20 years. And a few days later, he found out that there were cannibals that oftentimes come to this island to eat the prisoners and even the people of their local tribe. So what he did was he managed to save one of these slaves. He managed to kill these cannibals, save one of the slaves, and named him Friday. And from there, he taught Friday basics of English. And from there, they started to make, or in this case, forge a very long-lasting friendship. Now, how Robinson Crusoe got off the island, I'm not going to tell you, because I feel if I do, it's going to spoil the entirety of the book. So trust me when I tell you that this is a light read. You can probably pick up this book in a day and finish the book in a day as well. And I promise that the plot will be very, very interesting. Thank you for listening.